So I'm rolling down through Tivoli Bays, just taking a break from the farm quick. And I see these sticky traps out. Government insect trap, do not disturb. I don't know, I guess they're taking a sample of everything in the area. But that's the second one I've noticed on the trail, so interesting. And it looks like we've got all different types of insects in there. Boy, they look pretty coated in that crap. I don't know how you're going to analyze anything other than just take an account, which is probably what it is. Just thought I'd share it. Any tagging info on here? Nice Dam Plant Industry, European Cherry Fruit Fly, Traps Program, 2019. Ah, so they're after European Cherry Fruit Fly. We'll have to look that up. Very interesting. Alright, again, we're here in the Tivoli Bays Preservation Area. And that tree, I don't know if you can tell on camera how big that tree is, but I guess that's 4 foot diameter, 4 foot diameter at the base. That was a monster that came down. And this whole area in here is loaded with some really old growth, large trees. Obviously some of these aren't quite that old, but in general, this whole area, the Tivoli Bays area, is beautiful. We have tidal influence down in the bays. This is one of the only freshwater tidal areas in the world, I believe. I think this is one of like maybe 3 or 4. Anyway, this is a very interesting area, and I think that's a cherry log right here on the side of the road. That's got to be a solid 36 inches in diameter right there by itself. We'll roll on down. So this is an old abandoned barn here that used to be part of whatever estate was here, where the Tivoli Bay area is. This used to have a full roof on it, and we used to be able to go into it and check it out. And it was interesting. But obviously people have gotten in here with graffiti and caused all kinds of trouble. And the fence is new for me. I haven't been down here in several years, so that may have been up for quite a while. It looks by the overgrowth like it has. But interesting old building. So here we are down at the boat launch. Still Tivoli Bays area. I'm not going to stay here long because it's no parking. This is really just for launching your boats. And I don't mean big power boats, I mean canoes, kayaks, and that sort of thing. Although, man, that ramp would be fun to go down on a sled. I just want to show you real quick this area. I think we're about low tide here, so I'll just get you a quick shot. But if you've never been to the Tivoli Bays area, and you're in the New York State region, you get a chance to come here. This is a very interesting ecological area and well worth a visit. We have massive old snapping turtles, hundreds of years old in here that I've seen. I've seen massive carp. We have eagles, we have osprey, we have all kinds of interesting wildlife down here. And it's a really beautiful area. And so if you get the opportunity, you should come down and check it out. And just look at the expanse of this freshwater marsh. It is absolutely massive. And out beyond the tracks there, where you see that line of sparse trees, that's the railroad tracks. And just beyond that is the Hudson River, which is a really interesting river also. Some saline water up to about Poughkeepsie, depending on time of year. That fluctuates up and down a little bit. And other than that, it's freshwater, but it's a tidal river, I believe all the way up to the Albany Dam. So we have tidal action here all the way up. And so that makes it really interesting. In the spring, we have the striped bass that come up and run in April. I think the water has to be about 51 or 52 degrees, and then they start running up. Lots of people fish them. There's shad, people fish those. And then there's all kinds of other stuff. I probably could go on all day about all the different wildlife and diversity in here. But if you've never been here, I definitely recommend checking it out. And we are definitely at low tide at this point. And so you'll want to consult a tide chart, an accurate one, an up-to-date one, if you plan on putting a canoe or kayak in here and going out. Because you don't want to come back and find yourself slogging through this mud. I can tell you that mud is feet deep, probably 6 feet deep, maybe more. So if you get stuck out there, you're either hanging on until the tide comes back up, which is a long time. And there's a train going by now. Or you're slogging it through the mud. And I know my dad did that once or twice duck hunting, and he said it wasn't fun. Anyway, I highly recommend you check out the Tivoli Bays area. I wasn't even planning on coming down here today. I'm just having a bit of a frustrating day on the farm, and I just needed to get off the farm and go for a ride. And so I thought, where better to go than Tivoli Bays. So I'm here, I'm up on the high point at Tivoli Bays, and there's an old foundation here. Oh my. And some deep old well holes. Interesting. And interesting, the old landscaping trees still here, overgrown by forest canopy. Ground is covered in myrtle. This would be beautiful in the spring. Purple flower. Pretty sure I've seen honeybees work that. But what caught my attention was this tank. Man, I wish I could just pick that up and take it home. That'd be a great water tank for the ram pump. You know, and then of course put it on top of the barn so I could watch it fall through the floor. Anyway, I saw the tank. I figured this must be water supply for whatever this was, farm, estate, whatever. Sure enough, there's a pipe in the bottom. So this was their reserve tank up on the high point. I wonder if that was fed with a ram pump. May have been. And then this, I think, is the old chimney. Yep. Old piece of glassware there. That's interesting. Anybody recognize that pattern? Well, I just thought I'd get a shot of the tank here. And kind of glad I did, because I didn't realize these other deep well holes were in here. I got to assume that was a well, but then I don't know. That's a pretty deep hole. I wish I had a light on me. I don't even know how far. It looks like it's collapsed in, but it looks like that goes down a ways. Anyway, I don't know. I think that's it for Tivoli Bays. Well, I guess when you get out with the camera and exploring, you're never quite done. This tree is massive. It was this tree. Let's see. It was an oak, for sure, and a monster one at that. Let's just have a look. Let's see. That comes up to here on me, which makes it about 3.5, 4 foot across. I'd say about 4. So 4 foot diameter oak tree that came down. Wow. And then you got all these little mushrooms growing on it. I don't know what those are, but they look kind of like an oyster mushroom of some sort. Which they may be. And what caught my attention for that stump was these massive logs. Look at these logs. They're huge. Man, you imagine the firewood in that? Look at that. Put my hand against that. You can't even... It just dwarfs my hand. I can't even pull the camera back far enough to get the whole log in the picture. I just thought I'd share these because they're monster trees, and I don't know how many people see monster trees these days. And it looks like someone tried to have a fire on top of one of these. Good luck, buddy. Oak is about 600 degrees ignition temperature. Okay, I think this is a good way to close it out. This gives you a map of the river. This is New York City down here. You come all the way up through Yonkers, Tarrytown, Croton, Peekskill, Iona Island, Bear Mountain Bridge, West Point, our military camp, Newburgh, which is a place I try to stay away from, and the Newburgh Beacon Bridge, the Mid-Hudson Bridge. It crosses between Poughkeepsie and Highland, and then the Kingston-Rhinecliff Bridge, which is just down the road here, not too far, and then Tivoli Bay is here. And then you go up above that, you got the Rip Van Winkle, you got Hudson, you got Stockport Flats, which is another gorgeous area, and then Coxsackie, Petron Bridge, Albany, Troy, the Federal Dam, and then that's where it ties into the Mohawk River, which goes all the way out west, and that's how a lot of major supplies make it out to the Great Lakes. They come up the Hudson River and out the Mohawk River. Actually, there's a canal they dug that takes you out there, and there's a whole documentary on that canal, which is really interesting. I should also mention here the key shows you salty water, so it gives you a better description than I did verbally before about where the salty water is. You can see it's salt water in the bottom, brackish coming up, slightly brackish, and then they're saying tidal fresh water below Poughkeepsie, but I know some guys that go out on boats all the time, and they say depending on the season, the brackish water can come as far north as Poughkeepsie. But that means that Tivoli Bay is way up here, is a freshwater tidal area, and it's very rare to have freshwater tidal areas. So let's see, we'll just read this to you quick. For the 152 miles below the Federal Dam at Troy, the Hudson River is an estuary, a tidal river that rises and falls with twice daily tides. Salt water from the Atlantic Ocean meets and mixes here with fresh water draining from the 13,390 square mile Hudson River watershed. Estuaries are among the richest, most productive, and most intensely used ecosystems on the Earth. Estuarine plants and animals depend on the presence of healthy habitats, good water quality, and little or no human disturbance. You have an important role in preserving the quality of life in the Hudson River estuary. Anyway, so yeah, this river was deeply contaminated thanks to General Electric years back dumping PCBs directly into the Hudson River, and there is still an ongoing cleanup effort for that, and some controversy about whether we should dredge it or not. Some people say leave it and not disturb it, because when you disturb it, it ends up in the water again, and whereas the mud kind of contains it, and other people say dredge it and get it out for good. But anyway, if you haven't visited this area, it's well worth visiting. I've certainly talked on long enough about it, so come check it out if you get the chance. So we're still in Tivoli Bays. I came in from another entrance, actually much closer entrance to the Bard campus, and this takes you out to what's called Kruger's Island. It is actually a peninsula most of the time, but when the tide comes high it is actually an island. It's beautiful. It's right on the Hudson River. It's surrounded pretty much by the Hudson. Piece of land that comes back here, and years back, I don't know if they still are out here, but years back there were eagles' nests out here, and we used to come out and actually watch the eagles. And if you go on my channel, you'll find that there's a video from when the DEC was tagging eaglets out here that I got, and so that is shot right out here. So we'll go ahead and back up and take the right-hand turn here and take you out to the bay area again, just to show you another part of the bays. So here we are at the other turnaround. There's trails that go off through here and connect all these access points, and there's at least 4 or 5 main access points and probably several other more obscure ones to this area. But anyway, it's beautiful, and we'll just give you another shot of the bays out here. There used to be like a dock with a railing here, but it looks like they took it down. And it's just a kind of a canoe launch now. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, this had railings and like a nice little dock set up here years back. I guess it's been a long time since I've been down here. But here you are, and where we were before, where I showed you, is out past where that point is, right here. And so now we've gone further south, and you're still looking at where the train was running down there, and then you can kind of see Kruger Island here is the close tree line that kind of rises up from where the train tree line comes down. I'll throw some aerial shots from Google Earth up on here so you get a better idea of what you're looking at. This just caught my eye. This is yellow jewelweed. I've never seen jewelweed with a yellow flower. I don't know if we'd stayed out there another minute or two, we'd catch that train. And there's a bumblebee hitting a jewelweed flower. That is really interesting. I've never seen jewelweed with a yellow flower. And here's the exploding pods. Ready? You just pinch them a little bit and they explode. So interesting, I've never seen it yellow, and it seems to be taller than the orange. That may just be because of the soil it's in. Undisturbed, diverse soil would be very high in organic matter and humic matter and trace minerals and all that excellent stuff. But interesting. Cool.